Hello, everybody. Happy Thursday. Today, I want to share with you all Psalm 27, and I'm going to read verses 13 and 14, and this is actually King James Version. It reads, I had fainted unless I had believed to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. Wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thy heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. So today, I just want to focus on the faith to wait. Because a lot of times we believe God for things, and in walking out our journey and the steps that He's ordered for us, we can become overwhelmed with all that's required, all that we have. That some stuff we shouldn't even be carrying. We should give it back to God because we've taken on things we shouldn't. And it talks about, I had fainted unless I believed to see the goodness of the Lord. So what does that mean? That means that in those times where you feel like you want to quit, where you feel exhausted, like you can't go any further, and you haven't seen what God has promised, how do you go forward? Well, we know we walk by faith and not by sight. You might be thinking, well, I've had faith up until this point. It still hasn't happened yet. Well, God's timing and our timing, a lot of times, is not the same. But it says, unless I had believed to see the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living. And then the next verse says, wait on the Lord. Be of good courage. He shall strengthen thy heart. Because we mentioned yesterday about unrelenting disappointment makes the heart sick. When you haven't seen that breakthrough that you're believing God for, you haven't seen that promise come to pass yet, that makes the heart sick. It makes it hard to go forth, right? And I know I've experienced it. I know a lot of you watching this have experienced it. Some people might be there right now. And it says to wait on the Lord. So this is your reminder today, not to faint, but to stay in faith. And I think about when I was younger, I would ask my dad for all kinds of stuff. I look back on that now like, man, I still do that. Like, if I could see a way to make this happen, I have no problem asking for whatever it is. So I just remember at one point when I was in college, I asked for a brand new GMC Yukon. And my dad was like, yeah, right. Even now, before that, when I got my license, I asked for a brand new Escalade. So I brought it down just a little bit. But I asked him for one. He was like, yeah, right. So he had told me no. But I don't quit. I keep going with things. So I'm like, well, this is a no right now under these circumstances. How can I get this yes for him to actually go sign for this truck and get this for me? And so, long story short, I kept going. Even though my dad told me no initially, even though I didn't see a way for it to work out, I kept figuring out some numbers, what I can do to change this. And guess what? After some time, I was in my second year of college, I believe. Might have been first year, end of first year. And my dad, he went and signed for it. Hey, if you make those payments, keep your grades up, and find a job where you can balance everything, I'll sign for you this truck. It happened, right? It didn't necessarily happen in the time that I wanted it to happen, but it happened. And that's just your reminder today that that's my earthly father. Like, that's my dad here. He's still like, Tina, oh my gosh. I can only think about the stress that I've caused my parents with some things, but he still did it for me. It wasn't when I wanted him to, it wasn't when I was expecting him to, or when I initially asked, but he still did it. And I knew I could get a yes, it just wasn't under those circumstances, right? So I don't know where you are today, but you need to realize that whatever you're believing God for that you feel like you haven't gotten that yes quite yet, if it's something he promised you that's in his word, he's going to do it. So you might feel a little faint, like you want to quit and let it go, but I'm telling you to get in faith today and keep dreaming again on it and believe God for it and go back to working and walking out that plan so you can see what he promised you. And like this verse tells us, I believe to see the goodness of the Lord. And then that next verse, wait on the Lord. Waiting's not fun. None of us like it or like being patient. God's timing's not ours, but it'll get there and it will come to pass. But you got to keep going and you got to stay in faith. So don't faint today. Stay in faith.